Alright, so I'm back, and today we are going to be taking a look at MMC's Talon, or as I like to call him, back heavy. This is their, not Divebomb. It is Talon, right? Yeah, Talon. He comes in a box. It's a nifty box. Has magnetic glass. I mean, seriously, it's a box. I don't know why people make such a big deal out of these boxes. I mean, sometimes they're great boxes, sometimes they're crap boxes. It's the figure that we're looking at. If people are buying them for just the boxes, then they're not opening the Transformers. And thus defeats the entire purpose of watching a video review on the transformation and posability of the figure. So, anyway. So here he is in his robot mode. Looks pretty nifty. I mean, he's a Mastermind Creations figure, so yeah, he's bound to look great. That's just the rule now. So we'll get into some accessories here and posability. He does come with these little knives, which are a little bit difficult to get in and out of his hands, but they're actually nowhere near as scary as the other ones. But yeah, they're pretty cool. Just kind of molded in this gold plastic. I hope not gold plastic syndrome gold plastic, but gold plastic. It's like the blade's painted a little bit shinier than the handle. So there's that. Not coming across the screen very well. And it's got the standard 5mm ports on the end, so you can plug them into like the thigh pieces. Barely. Not really. No, you're not going to plug in there? Okay, so it doesn't plug in there. You can plug it into the back of the wing here. He does come with two of them. So you can plug them back here. Can you plug in here? You can plug in there. Yay. It can't really fit into these two plugs here and here. Will it fit into this side plug here? This port is too small. Will fit into the side there too, so that's cool. Kind of gets in the way of the wing, but anyway. So there's his swords. He also comes with a really badass little rifle thing, which he doesn't hold very well. If it slides in there just right, he holds it pretty well, but if you kind of do that, that's again a problem with making a square peg for a round hole. I thought they learned a lesson with the Hexatron figure, but apparently they don't care. So yeah, it does slot in there. It's got this cool scope that can actually fold down to extended butt on the rifle, but the way his arm's designed, as you can see, it doesn't fold all the way back. Just most of the way. Unless you have it part way out, and then it will. So, if you want the scope or extended handle, it's up to you. I'm really not trying to give them a hard time. I'm just a little frustrated with the square peg round hole gimmick and overall the figure. And we'll get into that in just a few minutes here. He's also came with these turrets, which are actually not packaged with the figure. They're packaged separately. So if you buy this figure, make sure you check the box, the shipping box, very carefully, because these were just in like a little Ziploc bag stuck to a piece of cardboard. So they do rotate around. They come undone. And look, they have round pegs. I bet you they're going to fit in the hands better. Oh, look at that. They do. Round peg in a round hole. It works great. Who would have thought? Anyway. Picking him back up. This is the problem that I knew this figure was going to have. I mean, I knew this from the first time I saw this. This figure is incredibly back heavy. Most of the other Mastermind Creations figures are very well balanced, but this guy is just extremely back heavy because of the big wings. You know, everyone gave Unique Toys shit, and you know, that's fine. But they gave him shit because the Divebomb had separate wings than the Predaking does. And his wings are, you know, maybe a quarter of this size, and they look really good in the beast mode. You know, not too big, not too small, but they don't make the figure itself back heavy. Maybe a little bit, but not nearly like this. Now these wings, you know, they're supposed to be for the Predaking, and yes, I understand that it, you know, that works great. That, you know, this and this, you know, this is, you don't have to put a separate piece on to the Predaking. But because this figure, you know, has the entire backpack of Predaking on his back, it just makes him back heavy. You know, the slightest little nudge and he's fallen. And you know, even if you don't have him posed right, you know, he's gonna fall back. He's not very well balanced, and a lot of people aren't, you know, pointing this out in their reviews of him. And I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just saying I don't understand why people aren't pointing out the thing is incredibly back heavy. You know, unless you have these feet just right, you know, and have him like at a forward slant a little bit, he's not standing. You know, if I try to just do straight up stand, just like this, let's see, straight up. Here he is. Straight up, right? They look straight up. Feet firmly planted on the ground. Right? Okay, so he's still standing straight up. And I mean, it's not even an attempt at standing. I mean, he's got to be at a slant forward stand. I mean, this isn't that bad, but still the point is that he should be able to stand like that, and he can't. It's just, I mean, this guy was, what, 17 months delayed? And he still has these kind of problems. Anyway, he's back heavy. He can't stand straight up. Let's move on. So his head is on a ball joint, so it can rotate around, up, down. Pretty decent. It's a little blocky on the side, I think. I do think it makes him look like he's got kind of a chunky head, but it's not that bad. I'm not going to really give him gripes for that. The official transformation for him is this bird head supposed to be like this, but it actually, if you pull it straight up like this and then you just slide it down in, then you can have it more like G1 configuration, and that's actually really cool. I dig that you have the options. I always dig the options. Shoulders rotate up and down, in, out, swivels, double bend elbow. Hand is on a swivel joint, and then because of the transformation you can get it out a little bit as well. He's got an ab crunch, swivels at the waist, hips rotate up and down, ratchet in and out, swivels at the thigh, bends at the knee, pretty good bend there. Foot is on a hinge here, and then a ball joint here. Again, you know, this is one of those, I mean, I don't mind ball joints, but when you have a figure I'm worried about the longevity of the ball joint and the Predaking feet themselves. So I'm worried about. I'm also worried about the longevity of the ball joints on the feet of Divebomb, who's incredibly back heavy. Because as he keeps falling backwards, those feet are going to get loosened up, and they're just not going to be stable at all anymore. There's also a hinge in the foot, just like the rest of them, so you can get a little bit of that too. And the other point of slight irritation is this piece doesn't lock in, and it kind of sticks up just enough to make me sit here thinking, oh, this isn't transformed right. So I sit here and I push on it and I push on it, and it, every now and then I get it to kind of go in, but there's stress marks forming, so I know that's not right. So it sits like this, and then apparently this is the connector to snap into the back of Razor Claw. I haven't figured out how to get, if these things like come out further or if these things rotate, but I haven't figured that out yet. I haven't found anything. It's possible that they do rotate, but I don't know. Anyway, this can rotate up. I'm sure this is for transformation though. For combined mode. So let's get him into bird mode. I have about 40 seconds to do this, so I should be fine. Rotate these thigh piece back. You want to flip open this section here, and you rotate the foot around, and that just kind of slides up and clips into place. It's similar to Bovis and Fortis, but it kind of makes me think that this is supposed to rotate around, like those guys do, but it doesn't. It just folds straight back and just kind of loosely locks in. It doesn't lock in very well at all, but that's what it's supposed to do. And I've got grease all over my hands because of the grease they put on the joints. I respect them for doing it, but it's still a point of irritation. I shouldn't get greasy for playing with a toy. Rotate the waist around. You fold the legs up. Like so. Do the same thing over here. Like so. And then this piece will rotate back. Clip into place. Rotate back. Clip into place. You fold the toes out like so. Flip the toes out like so. I mean, it's real simple. I mean, you can figure that out. Sorry if I didn't show it very well, but pull the beak up, flip the head around. There you have the bird head. Flip the arms or the hands in, and then the arms just fold up along the chest like so, and those will plug in. So, and there you have Divebomb. Again, aka back heavy and bird mode. And yeah, I have lots of problems with this. So let's go posability first. Head still on the ball joint, can move up and down now. Beak can open and close. That's cool. It's got, if it's like this, it's a little hollow there. I'm not a huge fan of that. If it's like this, it's still a little hollow there, but looks better, but you don't have that dynamic everything's about to die ahead of it look. I guess it doesn't look too bad. Then he's got these arm blocks that just sit here on the side of its chest. You know, the G1 and Unique Toys had the ability where you can take the arms and slide them into the chest. But because they decided they wanted to do this combiner port in the front as well as the combiner ports in the back, so that he can port into Razor Claw, you can't, there's no room in there to move anything, so these things are stuck on the side, and I think that just absolutely looks stupid. I mean, that's just plain stupid. Waist swivel, ab crunch, because of the robot feet back here, it gets a little hindered back here with the tail fin. This is the posability for the tail fin. Legs can rotate up and down, so you can get some walking poses, I guess. There's a little hinge here for the foot, and then each of the toes has one point of articulation at the foot. So this can go up and down. These can go all the way up and down. They're individually posed. Wings. I haven't done the wings yet, so let's talk about the wings. They can go up, down, soft ratchet, back and forth. The whole feathers can come out like so, and then each feather is hinged. So yeah, and then you actually do get some weapon storage here too. You can plug these into the side here. I prefer to just plug them in straight here. Just kind of plugs seems to be easier to work, and they still hold pretty well. So put these in right here and here, and then you take the gun. This folds up, and you can just either slot it in the back so it's pointed forward, or you can turn around. There's two slots, one here and one here, so you can plug it into either one. I just like to do that, so it's just kind of out of the way. You know, and it looks good. I think the wingspan is a little too big for the bird. You know, it doesn't look terrible, but the I think these arm sections here definitely look terrible. I really do. You know, if they were gonna do this, the least they could do is have these things slide all the way back so that they're up against the wings, so that it looks more like a part of the chest. But as it is, it looks like he's got arms. I mean, that's all there is to it. And this is not an Abominus. This isn't like Cutthroat, where it's a monster and you can kind of get away with it. This is supposed to be an eagle. You know, if Unique Toys can figure it out and G1 figures can figure it out, I don't see why Mastermind Creations, with a 17-month delay, can't figure out how to get those arms in there. But hey, what do I know? I'm just the consumer. Anyway, I'm going to pause this real quick so I can find the other 3 Predacons that I have so we can show them all off together. Alright, so let's get him back into robot mode and do some size comparisons and stuff. So I like to rotate these wings down. Take the swords off. I guess you don't really have to take the swords off. You can leave them there. Pull the gun out. You want to just... I like to angle the waist out a little bit. Rotate this around. Flip open the cavity there. You want to take the legs and they just kind of fold up like this. Just like so. And then you just rotate this down. There we go. Fold this down. so. You want to rotate this back. Rotate the foot just out and around. This comes back, out and around. Pull the arm down. Pull the arm down. Flip out the hands. Flip this piece around like so. This piece around like so. And then you come up here and you flip down the face and you slide in the beak. And there he is in robot mode. So we're going to give him one of his knives here. And slot one back in here. And give his rifle to this hand. And there we go. And let's do some size comparisons first here. Here he is next to the Seeker mold. So he's about twice the height of a Seeker mold. Much more impressive wingspan, that's for sure. Here he is next to the Eye Gear Seeker. Divebomb's just a little bit taller than the Eye Gear Seeker here. And definitely, again, much more impressive wingspan. Here he is next to the MP car. About a head shorter. And then let's get him in with his teammates. And I actually haven't done this yet, so maybe this will redeem some of him. Alright. And there we go. Now, okay, so one thing I do still really love about the Mastermind Creation figures is that even though Razorclaw is definitely bigger than the rest, it's not by much. You know, he doesn't tower over them like some other Predakings commander. Anyway. But honestly, I would have to say, out of the set, Divebomb for me is the absolute weakest. You know, for this expensive of a toy, you know, I expect more, especially for Mastermind Creations. I mean, this guy, I mean, you set him down, he's stable. You set him down, he's stable. You set him down, and it's like thud, he's stable. You know, he's a very solid. These guys are all very solid, and I'm not saying that Divebomb's not. He's a very well designed figure. He looks great. The sculpt is just perfect, but he's incredibly back heavy, and that is very, very unfortunate. And I really hate that. You know, for such an expensive figure to be back heavy like that is just absolutely ridiculous. Because, you know, they sacrificed Divebomb for the wings. And I know people are going to disagree with me on that. But one thing that I don't think anybody can disagree with me on is the fact that his transformation is no more complex than something like him. You know, these guys have all been complex to a point of still being satisfying. You know, they're not overly challenging, but not overly difficult. and at the end you're like, wow, that comes out pretty good. You know, even the TFC guys, same thing. You know, they're not too difficult, they're not too hard. They're just enough to be satisfying. Even the Razor Claw, as much as I hate him, is a very well designed figure for transformation. I mean, really, you flip the hands in, you flip the arms up, rotate the waist, rotate the legs down. You're done. He's a very quick and easy transformation that I'm not actually satisfied with, because it's so simple. And you know, the arm sticking out in the beast mode is not very good either. I really don't like it. Like I said, Unique Toys was able to get around that. The G1 figure was able to get around it. And as far as I can tell, the main difference between this guy and the G1 figure and the other one is the fact that they had to throw in that extra port on his chest right here. And as far as I can tell, that's probably going to be what combines him to the back of Razor Claw here. So I don't know if that's truly the case, but if it is, then you know, they just shot themselves in the foot with this one, because really, you know, if it was just the back heaviness, I probably could forgive it. If it was just the simplified transformation, I could forgive it for it. If it was just the fact that the arms have nowhere to go in beast mode, I could probably forgive it for it. But because it has all three of those issues, and the square peg in the round hole issue, they're really, I'm very disappointed in it, to be honest. And for having 17 months of delays to revise the figure, and it still fails. I mean, it does a good job of looking like a Divebomb in both modes. It'll probably do a great job in combined mode, which we will take a look at later. I've got so many figures piled up here that I've got to review before we can get to that point. But I mean, he does a good job. So I mean, I'm not sitting here saying, you know, if you're in for the Mastermind creations and you know, don't get him, cancel the whole thing. You know, I'm not saying that. I'm saying this guy is by far the weakest. I am disappointed in him because of his engineering, because of his design, and just, you know, the weight on the figure, the back heaviness weight, the time-wise weight, just really leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And so I have to say I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. I recommend it only if you are in it for the Feral Rex combiners. You know, if you're looking for the whole team together, if you're looking for the Predaking all together, you know, you have to get him. And, you know, getting like him, you know, these three, and then getting like a different company's Divebomb just will not be the same. You got to get the same guys. But yeah, ultimately, I recommend him only if you're getting this set. He's not a very good standalone figure. I don't think. I mean, he looks great. He feels great. It's just those issues I pointed out. The back heaviness, the feet just aren't that stable. The simplified transformation. I mean, these guys are so much better engineered. I cannot comprehend how simple this guy is. So, anyway, there is Mastermind Creations Divebomb. My question of the day is, has anybody else thought of these things? Any of you guys saw these things? Or am I going to get a lot of hate for this? I'm probably going to get a ton of hate for this. Oh well.